complete beatdown by the baby bulls, followed by an absolute switcheroo by the baby bears, and then another reach around from the baby bulls. The last 24 hours have been completely bananas in crypto. And what if I told you the reason is even bigger than something extremely big? Right now, the price of Bitcoin sits exactly where it was 24 hours ago. However, the price pumped massively, dumped massively, and everything in between. And what if I told you that something even bigger is on the way? So if we take a squeak peek at the Bitcoin charts, over 300 million of Bitcoin open interest was wiped out in less than an hour yesterday with a giga dump, and then a giga pump back to literally where it was before that giga dump. Just completely bananas. Yesterday was some of the most unique price action I think we've seen in terms of these very massive moves within a very small amount of time that we've seen potentially ever. And the price of Bitcoin now actually sits in a very good spot. If we take a look here, according to Mags, the Scalping Pro on Twitter, still 40K is that magnet, and I still absolutely believe nothing has really changed here, despite all of the short-term noise. There was absolutely a lot of short-term noise. People were panicking left and right. I got about 50 comments within an hour period saying, oh, we just dumped instead of pumping like that. And then before I even read those comments, we had already pumped back up to where we were before those people left those comments. Because I made a video talking about being at like 29K, and then we were at like 27K, and everyone commented, what's the comment? This aged well. And then before I even could read those comments, we were already back above those levels. So just a complete switcheroo, complete flip-flop there. But this is very interesting. We have literally just a couple of days left until the end of this month, the end of this monthly candle. And with this correction, Bitcoin is still above the 21 EMA line, which is very important for these monthly closes here. The month has a few days left to go. It would be a perfect retest if we held above this line, very similar to the bottoms that we formed back in 2019 and 2015 as well. And there were a lot of fears yesterday that potentially it was the U.S. government dumping Mt. Gox coins, whatever it is. The point is here, there is going to be some volatility, especially around this key level, and that's what I want to talk about. But before we continue with Bitcoin, I want to highlight this. The liquidity that has driven the market to the highs and negated the impact of Fed quantitative tightening is about to evaporate on a debt ceiling resolution. 25 basis point hike at next week's Fed meeting should be the final hike. And TED Talks Macro here suspects that the market will pay particular attention to any commentary surrounding quantitative tightening, given that it will now become the primary driver of USD liquidity in lieu of TGA reserves. We have, I believe it's Stanley Druckenmiller, who's actually extremely bearish on the DXY, which if we go to the DXY, is it potentially forming some sort of head and shoulders pattern, right? Is there some sort of big dump on the way? Whether or not that's a valid pattern, I absolutely think that the DXY will be going down. And one of the reasons for that, I mean, we've been following this forever, is the extreme weakness we saw in the DXY after the extreme strength we saw in the DXY, basically the entire year of 2021 and all of 2022 as well. The DXY just went on a complete rampage. We were following this the entire time. And now the DXY looks like the complete opposite. Still, it looks like it wants to break down. And especially if quantitative tightening ends and they start pivoting, then the US dollar will completely get dumped on, and risk on assets potentially like Bitcoin could have, some of their strongest runs that we've ever seen. And I actually want to pivot really quickly and talk about this. So as I highlighted in yesterday's video, this will probably be the last video you have the chance to do this because spots are filling up quick. But if you sign up with Femex below in my link, which takes about 20 seconds, 30 seconds to create an account, you are eligible. There's only 25 spots for this whitelist. You are eligible that when you trade, after you sign up with my link below, the 25 people that do that will receive XPT. When the Femex token goes live, you will be receiving a one-to-one for that token, the Femex token TGE, and you can do whatever you want with it. It might be very valuable. Who knows? It might not be. But you receive free XPT, only 25 people that trade. So this is basically only for people that are trading a lot, because if you're not going to be trading it, you won't really get anything out of it. But it's just an extra massive bonus. Whereas there are already a bunch of other ways that people are trying to get in, but this is a guaranteed way for the first 25 people that sign up. And remember, all you have to do in the link below is put in your 6-digit UID, which is just numbers. It's your public ID. That way we can know who gets credited and added to this whitelist. Some people that's tried signing up were putting in like their usernames. It doesn't identify your account putting in your username. It just has to be your 6-digit like public UID, which you just see when you go to your account information. But according to the MVRVZ score on this on-chain indicator on Glassnode, it's very likely that the bear market has ended here. Very, very likely. Again, it's not going to be a slow run up it's not going to be like a quick run up to all-time highs or anything anytime soon. However, all I'm trying to say here is the worst of it over? Because really the only other option would be, if the answer to that question is no, then we'd be re-seeing a visit down to these levels or even lower. But if we don't go back down to these levels or lower, then the bottom is in and the bear market is over, right? I mean, that's just what that means. If we take a look at Bitcoin's weekly chart here, we are still, if we can switch to the weekly chart. Oh, okay. There we go. If we take a look at Bitcoin's weekly chart, again, we're still holding above all these key moving averages. We are still in the middle of a gigantic multi-year long falling wedge. So really nothing to worry about on that front. We have a lot of things working for us now. If quantitative easing begins, or if quantitative tightening, as long as it ends and the dollar starts going down, Bitcoin absolutely will have no other option, pretty much, seemingly, based on history, to go up there. And, I do think it is important also to be watching the stock market, even though I think it is a little less important as time goes on, but we have to be aware maybe there's some sort of double top here. The economy is obviously not strong. So I personally don't see why the stock market would be going up, but I see a lot of reasons why why Bitcoin can decouple, especially in the face of this banking crisis. Looking at Bitcoin on the 30-day chart, you can see, again, we're closer than ever to a bullish MACD cross here, which can just signal very big momentum for Bitcoin. But again, we've for the past for a couple of days, these are the 3-day candles, we have really been trying to get above the bone zone, get out of the bone zone, and breach 30K, and we haven't been able to do it thus far. But you can see Bitcoin really knocking there. So if we fast forward a couple of days, or even sooner than that, and we see that Bitcoin has busted above that, and we're sitting at like 34, 35K, all I'm saying is I wouldn't really be too shocked there. We've been spending a lot of time trying to get above this. If we take a look at yesterday's candle, why it was so wild, you can see it's like a giant Darth Maul wick, where just a little itsy bitsy body in the middle, right where it opened, massive pump, massive dump, and then we just ended right where we were. So a lot of panic yesterday, a lot of panic. But if we just fast forward a couple of hours, basically nothing happened. If you would have slept through like a 6-hour period yesterday, you would have opened the charts and thought, wow, the price has literally not moved. Even though it moved, decent. Overall, the entire length of it was about not even a 10% candle, but in a day, that's a pretty substantial move, I guess, especially as it's just swinging back and forth. We haven't really seen a candle that drastic in a decent amount of time. Looking on this chart now, I don't really see a time in recent history where we saw it go that bananas there. But Bitcoin overall, I think we're just attempting to break that 30K. There's no clear signal yet that we're gonna do it just yet, but momentum can pick up very, very fast. Most importantly, we have the FOMC meeting in just a couple of days here. We will get a rate hike, most likely. Keep in mind, though, there's a chance that we don't get one, and if we don't get a rate hike, I expect Bitcoin to blast through 30K easily. But again, I personally think we will get one. I think we will get a 25 basis point hike, but I think it's very likely, as everyone's base case at this point basically is that that'll be the last one. And from here on out, say we come to the next FOMC meeting and they say, yes, that was the last one, we're just going to chill at these levels. That would be a massive green light for Bitcoin. And honestly, I think tech stocks and other things as well. But more importantly, the reason people are so excited about this is because people are trying to trade that before we get the news. People are trying to trade that pump before the Fed definitively says, okay, no more rate hikes. So everyone's trying to pile into this trade. And obviously it's going to be volatile in the short term because there are going to be people that get shaken out and crushed during that move. But ultimately, if this is the beginning of a pivot, it is most likely, according to history, the beginning of a longer term uptrend for things like Bitcoin. And as well, currently I'm up about $22,000 still in profit, still holding on to these longs. If you guys are interested, sign up with my links below. And keep in mind, guys, only a few spots. If you sign up with the link below, create an account on Phoenix using my link, only 25 people will be accepted into the whitelist. And basically all that does is give you an added bonus that when you're trading with your link that you create below, you get free XPT, which will then convert to Phoenix's new exchange token when it gets released in Q3. And you'll get a 1-to-1 swap of that, and then you'll just have basically added value. It could be a lot of money, it could be not a lot. Nobody really knows, right? Whatever the value is. But yeah, I mean, it's basically just free added tokens for those 25 people to get added to the whitelist when they trade. I wish I had more spots, but currently it's only 25 spots. And as you can see here, from the 1 billion total Phoenix token supply, 10% or 100 million will be allocated for pre-mining as XPT, and then it will be converted to on-chain PT on a 1-to-1 basis in 2023 Q3. Basically 10% of these tokens are available only at this whitelist. Most likely, potentially, right, the best price for those tokens, because right now you can't get them any other way than getting into a whitelist. So just absolutely very big. And without any further ado, that's it for me.